silent generation is the most economically successful living generation. In fact, the best year to have been born to guarantee you wealth would have been 1938. They mentored the consciousness revolution. That's often associated with the boomers, but not true. It's actually Martin Luther King. It's Dennis Hayes who founded the modern Earth Day. If you remember the sitcom Happy Days, and you saw that in Canada, that you think of them as a conventional and gregarious generation with many cultural icons like Jagger, Dylan, McCartney, Lennon. They are somewhat ideologically and politically wary, unlike their parents or their younger brothers and sisters. But they have built the big institutions and the big companies that populate North America.
Doctor, my eyes have seen the years and the slow parade.
So what are the values of this generation? Well, our parents, about 60% of our mothers read Dr. Benjamin Spock, so we were brought up to be very focused on the individual and self-expression, kind of not like our parents who were very team-oriented. Because of that, personal growth and development has been a keystone of our entire developmental lives. I'm okay, you're okay. Those kinds of books and gurus came forward. We definitely embraced inclusiveness and equality and saw the hypocrisy in our childhood of a segregated society that tended to be typical in many American communities. But we also take our interest in personal development for adventure and enrichment, and that's part of how we're going to reinvent aging. We do have a bit of an anti-authoritarian streak. You've probably noticed that if you work for a baby boomer. And we like to stay in control. You've probably noticed that also about us. Because of when we grew up, we have enormously high expectations, and that has not stopped because this year, the last of us will turn age 50. Their values include having grown up in a time of somewhat cultural hostility, somewhat associated with latchkey kids. Not entirely, but that was a factor. But that brought them up to be free agents, self-reliant, very entrepreneurial. Like their older brothers and sisters, the boomers, they have a bit of a disaffection with governance, and they are significant in mainstreaming gender equality. While the silent generation, the boomers, brought forward the social movements in a big way, postmodern feminism, Generation X made it mainstream in our societies. They're very technologically wired and savvy, and in effect, Generation X has reinvented global business.
Every time they turn the lights down.
What are their values that are collectively held? Well, first of all, they grew up very optimistic, self-confident, and really brought inclusiveness to its full current status. They're highly effective team players, and new research has demonstrated that this generation wants to make a difference. So is that built into your thinking about working with millennial employees? It should be. They tend to be liberal when it comes to social and political issues, not necessarily economic issues, but they are our digital natives. They've always known the internet. They've always known connectivity 24/7. They tend to be unattached to institutions and organizations, politics and faith.